And as we come on the air tonight, we reiterate that 15 people are now dead, 14 of them elementary school students, a teacher as well. This after another mass shooting in America, this time at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, about 80 miles west of San Antonio. It happened at Robb Elementary School. Second, third, and fourth graders only 2 days away from their last day of school. The governor of Texas saying the suspected shooter is also dead, believed to have been killed by law enforcement. Police saying that he was 18 years old and acting alone.
And once again, we're trying to come to terms with this news that we continue to hear just after Buffalo, after Boulder, after Wisconsin, and all these school shootings we've heard about, and just about 10 years since Sandy Hook, that many of us thought would never happen again. We want to get the up-to-date information from our sister station in San Antonio at KENS 5, because they have the crews on the ground. They know that area. They're learning new information, bringing us live coverage. And if I'm correct, Victoria De Leon is reporting right now.
This very difficult time, these stories are going to be coming out over the next few days, weeks, probably even months. So first and foremost, we are going to absolutely respect them and give them their space as they are grieving through something so devastating.
Okay. Thank you, Victoria. Yes, it's just impossible to even comprehend. We have been notified by CBS that President Biden has been told about this tragedy, and he plans to speak this evening when he returns to the White House.
Yes, and earlier today we were speaking about two people who are at University Hospital. They were transported to San Antonio, a 66-year-old woman and a 10-year-old girl. There were two pending transports, and Henry Ramos did say that he did see a lifeline leaving Uvalde Memorial Hospital, where a lot of those victims were taken. We haven't confirmed whether they have been transported to San Antonio or a neighboring area, but we do know that DPS has taken over that investigation. We know the FBI is there, as well as San Antonio Police, BCSO, but a number of neighboring law enforcement, Hondo, Batesville, Bracketville, all of these neighboring law enforcement agencies have been there all day assisting. Other campuses were released today at regular time, and those parents probably did see some of those law enforcement officers who were just there to ease the minds and hearts of some of those parents at other campuses. But the kids who were there at Robb Elementary School, they were being picked up from that civic center. After, and like you just heard from Victoria, a lot of those parents stressed out. They're still looking for their children, still being picked up at 5 o'clock, and this all began around 11:32 this afternoon at Robb Elementary.
And you are looking live right now at Robb Elementary, where this large truck has just pulled up. The Bexar County medical examiner has just arrived on the scene in the past 15 minutes. And that appears to be a refrigerated morgue truck. And we are hearing from people. We also have heard from BAMC. That's one of the two #1 trauma centers here in San Antonio, the other one being University Health. BAMC says we have received 2 adults from the tragic shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. We don't have conditions to release at this time. So that is a total of 3 adults that we know who are hospitalized, 2 at BAMC, 1 at University Health. 13 children hospitalized at Uvalde, and also 1 child, a 10-year-old, hospitalized here at University Health.
It's a tragic day, a dark day over Uvalde today, and it's going to be a long couple of days because this investigation, we don't know a lot. We do know that the suspect, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, he was a local there in Uvalde. We learned from Pete Arredondo, the UCISD police chief, that they believe he did act alone, and he was killed by police, responding officers to that active shooter situation that we've learned. A deadly situation. 14 students killed, 1 teacher dead, and of course that suspect was killed as well.
Yes, and then we have 1 student in critical condition, and we don't know the conditions of the other 13 students in Uvalde. And we have 3 adults hospitalized in addition to the 1 teacher who was killed. and there at Robb Elementary School.
Children still being picked up. It's 5 o'clock now, still being picked up from the Civic Center. We also learned that there will be a blood drive tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Herbie Ham Center. They are in need of blood there in Uvalde. You can only imagine after this terrible situation, and usually when any sort of critical situation, there is always a need for blood. There's typically a need for blood. So this, if you would like to help, if you're in Uvalde, 9 a.m. to 1, that blood drive will be taking place tomorrow.
And San Antonio's blood bank sent 13 liters.
That is the top of the hour
Uvalde
news coverage
today.
coming from Ken's 5. That is our sister station working out of San Antonio, which is about 80 miles to the east of Uvalde, Texas, where this has now happened. And these hours, now 5.5 hours since this shooting started, since the calls first came in, remind all of us of the scenes that we've watched play out here in Colorado over the years. Sadly, in other places as well, where it is now the parents trying to find their children, and many aren't, and there's so much confusion that your child may not have been hurt, but you can't quite locate them quickly, and seconds feel like hours.
They do, and I think these are just too familiar. We should not be repeating these stories again and again about law enforcement showing up, and then we no longer see ambulances needed, and then we're hearing stories about 3 adults injured and as many as 13 children injured still. And this reunification center, we hear this every time, the blood drive. I mean, this has happened again and again and again. And we'll talk about guns, and we'll talk about school security, and we'll talk about mental health, and somehow we never ever have answers.
No, and it feels as though it's been a long time since Buffalo. It's been 10 days.
10 days.
It's less than 10 years since Sandy Hook, which everyone thought was going to change America's relationship with guns or schools or something. And it now continues again with this terrible story out of Uvalde, Texas, with 14 children, second, third, and fourth graders at Robb Elementary, now dead. They were so close to summer vacation. They were 2 days left.
You said it was like Thursday? Yeah.
Thursday was the last day of school down there.
8, 9, and 10-year-olds.
And there will be a lot made of what did happen, where this hate came from, or how this young man was triggered. But it's hard to understand. Again, the president will be commenting as well. He's been flying back from Asia, but is now expected to speak at about 6:15. So certainly that will be part of what we cover throughout the rest of the day, as we also try to bring you the news of the day from Colorado.
And we also know, just as we are talking about this happening again and again, every one of you is saying the same thing. I mean, we have children in college that have not grown up without knowing about a school shooting, that have not practiced the drills about what to do if someone brings a gun to school. That is where we are in our country. And we also know this is a really difficult day. It is triggering for everyone in our state, and really anyone and everyone. It feels this, especially when we think of this happening again in an elementary school. As a result, you might need someone to talk to. So help is a call or a text away. Colorado Crisis Services is available 24/7. That number is on your screen. Reach out if you need to talk to somebody. 844-493-8255. You can also text the word TALK to 38255.